Today we're going to see more about the second beast or false prophet of Revelation 13 and what he can do. Stay tuned.
Holy Spirit, come and refresh me. Holy Spirit, come.
Welcome to Through the Bible in 5 Minutes, and as usual, I'm your host, Brad Keeney, and today is episode 49. So remember, there's 48 other episodes, plus there's Revelation discussion topics where we discuss things like the mark of the beast or rapture positions or things like that. But these 48 before, leading up to this point where we're at now, at Revelation chapter 13, verses 13 through 15 today, where again we're looking more at the false prophet or the second beast of Revelation 13. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. We want to get the word out there. We live in a special time, and we want to make sure that people are thinking about Jesus and understanding about his second coming, and we want to be encouraging with this, although there are some tough times ahead. But let's get into our study, because the Lord is with us. Things are going to work out well. Revelation chapter 13, verse 13. He, that false prophet we're talking about, performs great signs, so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So he's calling down fire on the earth in the sight of men. Now, who did that before? And these great signs. Who does great signs? And by the way, that word for great signs, that's the Greek there, it's used in John chapter 2 verse 11, John chapter 2 verse 23, John 6:2. It's actually used a lot in the New Testament. And these are the same words, the same word in Greek that's used for the signs that Jesus did. So unfortunately, again, we see that the devil, or this false prophet in this instance, his workman, is trying to imitate Christ, or trying to imitate a real prophet. So we see this pattern of imitation. So it's important for us to remember that the devil oftentimes tries to imitate. Like with the mark of the beast. Remember, there's a mark of God also that shows up in Exodus. And we'll talk about that in our next episode. However, we see him calling down fire from heaven. So who does that? Well, Elijah. Elijah was one who called down fire from heaven. And remember, in Matthew chapter 17, verse 11, Jesus said that Elijah's coming again, and we know that's forecasted. It's going to come. Now, remember, John the Baptist came in the spirit and power of Elijah as a foreshadowing, because we see that things tend to repeat in cycles. But now Jesus said Elijah's actually going to come. So this false prophet's essentially going to come down and prove, with calling fire down from heaven, with a false sign, that he's Elijah. So if you don't know your scriptures, which is what we're trying to get people to learn here, you could get deceived by that, and we don't want to see that happen. So let's move on to our next verse, Revelation chapter 13, verse 14. And there it says, again, this false prophet or second beast, he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. Now here we see again this theme of wounded by the sword and lived. And I can't help but think, with that theme we're talking about of repeating things and imitation, that maybe the beast is trying to imitate Jesus, who was wounded also, died for our sins, and then rose again. So maybe there's a false resurrection of sorts planned. Now this image of this beast is interesting too. Let's go to our next verse, Revelation 13:15. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many who would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. Wow, so this image is going to cause people to be killed, and it's going to speak. That's kind of interesting, almost like it's coming to life of sorts. Now exactly what this looks like and where this goes, I don't know for sure. But we will study the words, keep it in our heart, and then when the time comes, I'm sure God will show us and we'll know. And we won't be deceived, I'm hoping. Because again, if you don't realize that there's going to be false prophets and false miracles and things, it's so easy to say, oh, look at that miracle, he proved he's Elijah. Because I know the scriptures, I've seen Elijah do that. But you have to really know the scriptures, which means knowing Revelation also. So that's one of the reasons we want to get that word out there. So at any rate, tune in next time, because we'll be looking then at the mark of the beast. It'll start being mentioned and things, and that's important. And remember, we also do have a discussion topic on the mark of the beast, where we go through every single place it pops up, so you can see what the mark of the beast is and what the mark of the beast is not. So that's in the playlists under Revelation discussion topics. At any rate, God bless and have a great day, and we'll see you next time on Through the Bible in 5 Minutes.